Herzlich willkommen zum On the Way to New Work Podcast. Ich habe hier zu Besuch Claudia Frese, CEO von MyHammer.
Ja, vielen Dank für die Einladung.
We have Claudia as a guest today. Claudia Frese, she's the CEO of MyHammer. We have a podcast today. Michael is not here, so I do the podcast. And since usually Michael is the one who's prepared much more than I am, I read. And we actually meet in person because most important thing in the podcast we realize is like to be together with the person. So we put a lot of effort into meeting someone. And that's what I actually realized. That's one of the hardest things to manage these days, the paradox of together, alone, alone, together. I will share my thought after the podcast, I know. I have to prepare that. Hey, Claudia. Hey, grüß dich. Christoph. Freut mich. Plus, wir filmen heute nicht mit. Unvorbereitet ist es am besten. Das ist das Einzige, was ich möchte. Well, you've seen several of the podcasts that we recorded already, but it seems like a lot of effort to like meet someone in person to have a podcast with them. But on purpose, these things are not that long because we figured the shorter the cables, the closer we have to sit, and you have this kind of distance that is not too intimate, but like not too far away to have the connection that you need to connect with another human being. And when I said we have this paradox of together, alone, alone, together. What I mean by that is that in the last 5 years, everyone has one of these guys and runs around with them. And it's quite normal to many people to sit at a desk and at the same time consume stuff on the phone. I'm not an exception myself. I'm not the Zen monk I would love to be sometimes, but I realize it more often. And that's a paradox because we're not wired to understand like naturally how to manage emotions on a distance or in a messenger. And to realize that in a company you always have this, you're together alone. Although you're alone, you can still be connected to the other people, or you're together with other people and you're alone by yourself consuming something. And we mix that all day long. And we figured that this podcast time that we have is like undivided attention to a story of a person. And to train that with something like a podcast is something we use in our like business environment here as well. And we have to like stick to that every day. It's really a challenge. And why do I think it's so important? I think it becomes more important even in times of more digital tools. That's why we also see this workspace tool. Where was the magazine that Katinka is like showing you guys every week with the different tours they do is so important because the office or a place where you can meet other people becomes more important because the relationship becomes so important. We need the physical, social connection to other people, especially when everything else around us is more digital. I cannot remember the guy. I've seen one guy at the EO conference. I have to look up his name. He's an author of a book about nutrition and what it does to the brain. And he said that they found evidence that the cells in the brain, you usually used to say once you grow older you lose these cells, but they found out that you actually grow cells through human interaction. So if you connect with other people, you actually grow cells in the brain. So you need the physical connection to other people. You need the social connection to other people to actually keep growing. Very interesting thing. And that's what I mean by the paradox, together, alone, alone, together. And now we got some work to do to put this video online. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. There's another video here. And if you don't want to subscribe, check out another video here and then subscribe because there's a lot of stuff we already have public. Thanks. Bye.